G'day there! Today we have a bit of sun again, so I thought we would do a bit more experimenting with dehydration in the Suntaste SunOk Solar Oven. I've got some bread here that I've managed to rescue from being thrown out, and what I thought I'd do is pop it in the sun oven and see if we can dehydrate this and then turn it into some breadcrumbs. Now when you're dehydrating, it's really important to have good airflow around whatever it is that you're trying to dry out. So what I've got here is one of my cake trays. I'm going to pop some bread on this cake tray and then I'm going to load it up with a second tray over the top of that, just so that I can get some airflow between the two layers of bread. And let's load it up. And here's the second tray on top. And there we go. So as you can see, the bottom ones are not sitting completely on the ground here. And we've got a bit of space between the bottom layer and the top layer. So there's our bread in there, ready to dehydrate. And I am going to leave the back off, just to ensure that we can get lots of airflow into that solar oven. There is a little bit of a breeze here today as well. And that will ensure that any moisture can escape from the Suntaste solar oven itself. Now, as with all good experiments, I can't say if this is definitely going to work or not, but what we'll do is check in throughout the day and we'll see how these dry out. Just over an hour has passed, so I thought I would pop out and see how this bread is dehydrating. All right. That's actually starting to sound and feel a bit crispy already, which is wonderful. I was wondering if it'd start toasting instead of dehydrating, but yeah, it's not browning or anything like that at all. It's definitely just drying out. It's like a really stale piece of bread type texture now. What I might do is just actually flip some of these over though. I'm also pretty interested in the temperature we're getting in here at the moment, and we can see that it's sitting just under the 50 degrees Celsius mark in here, which is actually not a bad temperature for dehydrating. Normally I try and keep it between about 50 and 60 degrees Celsius. Alrighty, let's leave that for a bit longer and we'll see how long it takes to completely dry out. Now I haven't been able to get out here to do a bit of a check for the last few hours, and I think it's about 4 hours that has now passed in total, and I want to do a check and see how these are dehydrating. So doing a bit of a test of them all, they are now fully crispy. In fact, I reckon I could probably break that apart. Oh, very much so. So you can see there's no moisture in that at all anymore. So that actually looks ready. Might just do a bit of a check of some of the ones on the bottom as well. So let's reach right in and get this one at the bottom. That was more towards the front. Yep, and that is completely hard and dry as well. And here's our final temperature check. It's actually sitting on nearly 60 degrees Celsius now, so it has warmed up quite a bit. And that temperature is perfectly fine for me. As I mentioned, when I'm dehydrating bread, you know, anywhere between 50 and 60 is fine. I think my Excalibur actually says to do it around 68 degrees, so you can do it at a warmer temperature than this as well, but this has been effective across the 4 hours that we've been dehydrating this today. So what I'm going to do now is take it inside and turn this dried bread into breadcrumbs. To turn our dehydrated bread into breadcrumbs is super easy. If you've got a blender or a food processor, you can just pop it in there. And then it's just a matter of blending. With making your breadcrumb, just think about the size of crumb that you use at home. If you like a finer crumb, blend it longer. And if you like a bigger crumb, just blend it a little less. Once you have your breadcrumbs, like I have here, all you do is just transfer it to another container, like my breadcrumb one here. Make sure it's something that's nice and dry and has an airtight lid. and you'll be able to keep that in your cupboard, and you will have your breadcrumbs whenever you need it for any of your crumbing dishes. Let's pop in the second batch. Here's the completed breadcrumbs. And this is a 2-litre pail, and it's filled about halfway up. So what was going to be waste has now turned into some useful breadcrumbs for our cooking. Thanks for following along today as I had a go at dehydrating bread for the first time in the solar oven. It's definitely something I would give a go again. Catch you later.